Buenas tardes y bienvenidos a todos. Good afternoon and welcome, everyone. Welcome to a community dedicated to providing spiritual tools for living a happy and full life. My name is Karina Shear, and I'm the spiritual director and founding minister here at the Center for Spiritual Living Puerto Vallarta. If you would like to join us for the live Zoom meeting, please contact me for the link and password. Today is Sunday, July 31st. And we are continuing our theme for this year, which is Living Everyday Wonder. The topic for this month is relationships. And the topic for this week is the one and only. Each week, we start with a spiritual practice called affirmative prayer, also known as spiritual mind treatment. And this is a powerful tool and a practical tool that helps to shift our consciousness so that we are open and available to accept the good that's already present in our life. So let's move into today's service with intention, as we do each week with a reading from the Creative Thought magazine. And today I'll be reading from July 30th, 2014. Just a reminder that spiritual mind treatment is always done in the first person. So I invite you to close your eyes and take these words as your own, if you so choose. God is forever making all things new in the image and likeness of its infinite beauty. Today, as the sun of love rises in my consciousness, I am born anew. Deeply aware of my kinship with all life, I relate to everything and everyone in my world as family. I feel a deep sense of connection with the tiniest insect and the most gigantic whale. All of creation seems to be singing a birthday chorus as I awaken to the spiritual magnificence of which I am a part. The light of God takes form in me, and the shadows of past errors are dispersed by my dawning spiritual awareness. With a deeper understanding of truth as the foundation upon which my life is built, I see the kingdom of God as a world that works for everyone. I redouble my resolve to play my part as an ambassador of peace. I am inspired by the evidence of goodness in everyone I encounter, and I respond with enthusiasm to the inner urge to share the joy of being. Grateful that the living Spirit Almighty is my godparent, I release my word to the law that glorifies every new beginning with the evidence of its omnipresence grace. And so it is. And that was originally submitted by Reverend John Scott from Kingston, America. And as we do each week as well, let's together review our purpose, vision, and mission statements. We have a grand purpose here each week, and that is to awaken and celebrate diversity and to love and serve our community. And we have updated our vision, which is now creating the life you desire. Our mission is to provide spiritual tools for personal growth and transformation. Please know that here at the Center for Spiritual Living Puerto Vallarta, we teach the philosophy called the Science of Mind, and it encompasses all faith, traditions, and paths. So whatever your background is, please know that you are welcome here. And as I mentioned, we teach a philosophy called the Science of Mind. And it's a teaching based on new thought and ancient wisdom. We offer spiritual tools and principles to promote personal growth, such as our opening spiritual mind treatment. And as I mentioned, we honor diversity in all aspects so that we can see and appreciate the great oneness that already exists everywhere and within everyone. When Dr. Ernest Holmes was asked to provide a concise definition of the Science of Mind teaching, he replied that it is a correlation of laws of science, opinions of philosophy, and revelations of religion applied to human needs and aspirations. If you have any questions or comments, you can either post them wherever it is you are watching the replay, or you can chat with me in person or send me a direct email, and I'll be sure to respond. So yes, God is all there is. There is nothing that can exist outside of God, since there is no outside of God, which means everything and everyone, no matter the external dualistic appearance, is intimately and wonderfully demonstrating a relationship with spirit. This relationship is either discordant or harmonious by our choosing. Today, let us reassess how we will choose to show up in this loving and wonderful relationship. By spirituality, we mean a constructive atmosphere of goodness, truth, beauty, harmony, and reality. Such an atmosphere comes to such a degree as one comes to believe, to understand, and to use the invisible presence, the invisible intelligence, which is what we mean when we speak of the Spirit or God. To be spiritually minded is to be whole-minded. To be whole-minded is to be holy. It means that we realize the complete unity of God and its creation. If we, therefore, demand from ourselves freely, openly, and empathetically, a spiritual reaction to success, it means that we understand the complete unity and close relationship of all life and can more fully express prosperity and success. And that was words from Dr. Ernest Holmes in It's Up to You. So here's an interesting and powerful story. According to an old Hindu legend, there was a time when all human beings were gods, but they abused their divinity. So Brahma, the chief god, decided to take the divinity away from them and hide it somewhere that they could never find it. Brahma called a council of gods to help him decide where to hide the divinity. "Let's bury it deep in the earth," said the gods. But Brahma answered, "Humans will dig up into the earth and find it." Some gods suggested, "Well, let's sink it in the deepest ocean." But Brahma said, "No, humans will learn to dive into the ocean and will find it." Then some gods suggested, "Let's take it to the top of the highest mountain and hide it there." Brahma replied, "Humans will eventually climb every mountain and take up their divinity." Then all the gods gave up and said, "We do not know where to hide it, because it seems that there is no place on earth or ocean that human beings will not eventually reach." Brahma thought for a long time and said, "We will hide their divinity deep into the center of their own being. Humans will search for it here and there, but they won't look for the divinity inside their true selves." All the gods agreed, and that was the perfect hiding place, and the deed was done. And since then, humans have been going up and down the earth, digging, diving, climbing, and exploring, searching for something which already lies within themselves. Divinity lies within us all. This is what Dr. Ernest Holmes wrote. The life and teaching of Jesus was to show the intimate, immediate personal relationship that we all have with life itself, which is within us, around us, and through us. So can there really be a distinction between the sacred, mundane, and profane? The holy, non-holy, and unholy? There is only God, which means the question becomes, if I call this person or event unholy or profane, in what ways are the creative principles of the law being used to demonstrate such an experience, and what truth is being called forth to know that this condition is healed? Ernest Holmes wrote this: I believe that God is to each one what that person is to God. The divine nature must be infinite. We know only as much of this nature as we embody. So the only evidence anyone has of the love they feel is based upon how they treat the person they love. You cannot see love. You can only see the actions that are motivated by love. This week, what are some ways that you can demonstrate your love of God in how you love the world around you? Picking up that empty can that is littered on the sidewalk, choosing non-pesticide ways to tend to insects, recycling more consistently, reaching out to someone you have not spoken to in a while and letting them know that you miss them, listening to the person you are talking with. More active attention is a tiny fraction of the ways that you can practice building your relationship as a wonderfully sacred act of recognizing and honoring the divine. A Holmes reader on practical wisdom, Dr. Ernest Holmes states that love is a synonym for God, and God is love, the universal outpouring of the Spirit through law, wisdom, life, and action. God knows us in love. We know God only through love. When we love humanity, we are loving God in and through others. Ernest Holmes wrote this in the book, What Religious Science Teaches. A person's relationship to God should be direct, dynamic. Every person's mind is an inlet to the divine. There is tolerance in this concept and inclusion. The infinite is all-inclusive, all-embracing, all-comprehending. I'm sorry, I misquoted. That was not from What Religious Science Teaches. That was from the Science of Mind magazine, November 1996 edition. And so God is ever present as the presence of all that is. And the mind that is being used by each individualized incarnation is no less the one mind. Our relationship to our thoughts and our thoughts about the world are a direct reflection of our relationship with God. This relationship indicates what we are praying on any given day. Praying without ceasing. This means to always be on the affirmative side of life. To pray without ceasing is to doubt never, but to always trust in the law of good. This inner communion is essential to the soul and natural to the mind. It is a constant recognition of the relationship to the presence in which we live, move, and have our being. And that's a direct quote from the Science of Mind textbook. And here's a quote from from Rumi. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. We change the world by changing the quality of our relationships to the world, which in fact are our relationships to each and all of the ways God, the body of God, shows up. The way we speak about God is the way we speak to God and as God. Do we still use New Thought language to speak of an anthropomorphic God? What do the relationships we have within our spiritual communities, our neighborhoods, cities, nations, ecosystems, say about our views, understandings, and relationship with spirit? How we relate to anything or anyone is how we relate to everything and everyone. That is God. Holding grudges, bitterness, righteous indignation, covert narcissism, people-pleasing, passive aggression, jealousy are all indicators of some idea we have about spirit and its felt or absent presence in our life. As we heal each barrier to developing loving, forgiving, and wonderful relationships, we strengthen our relationships to God, with God, and as God. Astrophysicist, poet Robert Frost said this: "We dance around in a ring and suppose, but the secret sits in the middle and knows." So I guess the secret is out because the secret is in us. So this week's call to action is to heed the words of Rumi and find all the places we have built barriers to love, barriers to living more fully and wonderfully with and as our divine, magnificent selves. Select one item, such as codependency, resentment, betrayal, etc., and begin to do the work of healing, transcending, transmuting, transforming, and rising like the phoenix, ready to embrace the world with the love and wonder of spirit, which embraces its own divinity in each relationship we consciously choose to embrace, and unleash this divine wonder, grace, love, and power. Reach out to a practitioner, a minister, or a therapist, even a friend, and begin the healing process. The recovery from an addiction to an old paradigm, old behaviors, and consciousness that limits the ability to consciously connect with another and with God. And I'll leave you with these words from Fred Rogers. If you could only sense how important you are to the lives of those you meet, there is something of yourself that you leave at every meeting with another person. And that leads us to our weekly affirmation. My relationships with everything demonstrates my relationship with God. And so now it's our time for giving back financially, where we are spiritually nurtured. And you can give your donation, and it will be gratefully received through our website. When you arrive on the landing page, there'll be a donate button, and that button will direct you to your PayPal account, where you can make your donation in whichever way you choose. Alternatively, if you still like to write a paper check, you can do so by addressing it to CSLPV number 403, 2125 Birch Road, Kelowna, BC, V1Y8M1. So if you'd like to join me in our offertory affirmations. I know that my giving blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give and receive. I do give eternal thanks for the abundance that is mine to share. So thank you for coming and sharing this time together. If you would like to have a one-on-one connection for spiritual mind treatment, please contact me. And if you would like to commit to being a member of the Center for Spiritual Living Puerto Vallarta, or if you would like to be a member of our Board of Trustees, please contact us so that you can be sent the current forms. I'd also like to remind you to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel and Facebook page. And if you're interested in learning more about the Science of Mind teaching, we'll be offering another course of the class, Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. And this will be online and start in late September or early October. Connect with me or check out our website for further details. And if there's another course or workshop or even a book study that you'd be interested in, let me know so that we can plan to put this together. And let's continue with practicing peace. We can each be a force for peace and nonviolence. Our words and our actions can create ripples of peace all around us and beyond. Peaceful living includes acting with compassion, kindness, and consideration. And it also includes standing up against injustice. May peace and love be with you. Namaste.